Build Like a Boss, the podcast for service-based business owners who want to build, organise and sell their businesses without burning out or waiting for life to calm down. I'm Dani Louise Smith, business strategist and operations consultant, and each week I'm sharing practical, no-nonsense strategy to help you grow a business that actually works alongside your life. So whether you're a coach, consultant, freelancer or service provider, this podcast is your shortcut to clarity, stronger systems, more consistent sales. Around here we focus on building sustainability even when life is unpredictable. So no fluff, no hustle culture, just smart strategic action. Let's get into it. So today I'm talking pacing over productivity for performance, and I have no notes. I have nothing prepared because I knew that I was doing 2 podcasts today, and I just seem to imagine that I have all the time in the world before I come to do this, and I just didn't, and the reminder popped up and I'm like, oh balls. But I've got a really busy day today, so I needed to get this out there, recorded, done, because it's a really hot topic, so I'm just on the fly with it. But I also think I should probably pre-record my intro so it's like the same every time and saves me time in the episode as well. But then it does mean my team will have more work to do in terms of like actually editing the episodes. So we don't fully edit them, but we would have to edit the videos together. And I'm not a fan of like editing anyway, as some people may tell. So today's topic, pacing over productivity for performance. Now, I want to begin by talking about what this actually means. So it means that you pace the way you take actions in your business to create productivity, rather than just trying to get as much done as possible in the aim of being productive for performance. So what I mean by this is, a lot of the time I find that I'm watching business owners that say yes to everything, they take on loads of stuff, and I don't necessarily, I think that they're doing it for themselves. I think they're doing it because of what it represents. So like, lots of people talk about this badge of honour when you burn out, because it means that you're successful, you're busy, right? Things are going great, but that's not true. And I think from what I have seen is that productivity time sometimes is for performance and not actually for yourself. And I want you to recognise where that's happening. And this actually came about because I watch like a hawk. I read between the lines. I see through people, and I have shared quite openly with people in my close circle, and even on this podcast at times, even in my content, that like I feel in the last few years the smoke and mirrors have been lifted. It's like I've been watching things, and it's like I've been experiencing things, and they've massively been lifted, especially in this industry. And I'm going to be honest here, like this industry, and I've been feeling like, do I share this? Do I talk about this? Because it almost could be, what do they call it? Business suicide? But yeah, I just feel so frustrated with this industry right now. The coaching, consulting industry, mentoring space, because I think a lot of the time, the things that coaches do is for performance. It's almost fake. And as part of that, I think that sometimes when you run a service-based business, you're learning from those people and you're starting to be productive for performance. But this is not healthy at all. And this topic also comes from my own lived experience with navigating like health challenges since September last year. So for nearly a year, where I was so ill at that time that I just couldn't function. I feel like I'm going to sneeze. And do you know what I really don't like on this podcast is that you can't just pause it. So if I'm going to sneeze, I'm going to do it live on the show. And I'm not editing that shit out, because life's too short to edit out sneezes. I feel like maybe it's going now. But it just drives me mad. Like, why am I not able to pause and then continue? I can stop it and then I can continue. But the episode does not merge. The videos do not merge together, and that really frustrates me. I need to request that and ask for what I want. Anyway, so feel like the sneeze has passed. So from that experience I had where I was feeling these symptoms every single day and I could not function. Like, I remember going to get my washing basket from upstairs to bring it down, empty it and put a wash load on. And by the time I got to the top of the stairs and grabbed the basket, I come back downstairs again. Not only was I out of breath, but I felt like I was going to collapse. I stopped at the bottom of the stairs and I burst out crying, because it felt horrendous. Like, it just felt like all the energy completely drained out of my body, and that if I kept on moving, I was going to pass out. And I absolutely hated it. Then I started getting really shaky, started getting hot and clammy and sweaty, and it was awful. It was horrendous, and that started becoming part of my everyday life. And prior to this, I'd been poorly for about 2 weeks, and I couldn't quite put my finger on what was going on. So I'd had a high temperature, I felt quite achy, I just didn't feel well at all, and I feel like my nervous system was attacked, like my body was being attacked, or something was going on there. I don't quite know, because it wasn't a bug. Like, I didn't have any sickness or anything. Everything was fine in terms of all that. I didn't even have like flu-like or cold-like symptoms. I was just aching. My energy just wasn't there. My brain was pretty foggy as well. And every day like felt like a battle to get through each day and just do normal day-to-day stuff. And don't get me wrong, I am still experiencing that. I've just it's eased a lot, because this was like every day for about a month. I ended up being admitted to A&E, and since doing some like research and starting to sort of track my symptoms, probably not track them enough to go to my doctor with, but I do believe that I possibly have POTS. So I've been looking, well, it's a maybe, I'm not 100% sure, it's a possibility, but I've been looking at it, and from what I've learned, the way to solve that problem is through pacing. And I don't think you have to have a diagnosis. I don't think you even have to have these symptoms to recognise that you need to pace to create productivity. And this has come about by recognising, like, on the days where I do get up and do some exercise like I did this morning, how much I actually how productive my day becomes, and how it kind of rolls around from that. And just other situations where I haven't done that, and maybe I've slept in and I've not allowed my body like time to fully wake up and move and get energized, and it massively impacts my day. And so I need to like pace myself in the actions that I take in order to create productivity, because when I exercise versus when I don't, there is a massive difference in how I feel. Like, it wakes me up for starters, it gives me energy, and it's the same in like what you consume and what you eat, how you pace your day. So like, rather than going exercising and rushing straight into the next thing, you've got to pace yourself. And I think this is something that lots of business owners are missing, because I feel like people have been pushed to hustle a lot, but then I think the opposite has happened. I think maybe we're not actually pacing, where there's not pace picking up, and people are just not, that they're too laid back, and they're not going for what they want. And so as a byproduct of this, like, productivity is not happening, actions are not happening. But what I want to specifically focus on today is productivity for performance, because if you were taking actions because it looks good, because it's what you should be doing, it's what people are watching and they want to see, I'm going to ask you, like, who is that really for? Because you're not bossing your business, you're not running it like a CEO if you're performing for other people, if you're being productive for other people. So I want you to acknowledge, like, where in the areas in your business is this showing up? Because I think when it, like, talking about like the boss method that I run by, which I've changing weekly actually. By the time this episode comes out, I'll have probably made all the updates in terms of like on my social media and on my sales page and everything like that. And the reason I'm changing it is because I feel like people don't understand what optimization is. To be honest, someone's told me that in some of the research that I've done. And I also think that scaling a business right now is not what most people who are in my space, who are in my network, that connect with me, are actually at the place to do it or want to do it right now. And so instead, I'm going to turn it into exactly what it's about, sustainability. So the boss method is becoming build, organise, sell and sustain. Because actually, if you think about the trajectory of you, like, creating a business and running a business successfully, that's exactly what you need to do. You need to build it. You need to organise what you've got. I got to say optimise, because it's about efficiency and productivity. However, and automation. However, people recognise the word organisation a lot better. And then obviously we need to sell the services that we have. And all of that together is built into sustaining the business that you've created, and that is what I want to help people do. And I think it's a massive important thing that you pace for productivity, but you actually recognise where you're not pacing, and that actions that you're taking are for performance. So for example, it might be doing things on camera that's not you. Oh my, this is such a bugbear of mine. So I see this all the time. There's like a few things at the moment where people are wearing like sexy underwear, for example, to do photo shoots, right? If that is you, if that's genuinely your identity, then 100% do it. I know a business owner that is a leadership coach, and it suits her personality massively, because she's not just done it for the photo shoot. She actually goes out and goes dancing in like this lacy underwear with a blazer over the top. Looks fucking hot, right? Looks great. Love it. I would not be daring enough to wear it, and she looks amazing. She feels confident. You can just sense that. But she actually wears that. She goes out in that. But then what I have a problem is when you see other people doing that same thing, but it doesn't connect with their identity, or they've never done that before, or they wouldn't actually go out and wear that in public. And I think that is where you're doing something for performance, and that people can feel it, people can sense it. And I just think it's about being authentically you and recognising where that's not happening. So you might be spending a lot of time, you might be really productive, but spending a lot of time doing things that are for performance rather than for your actual productivity that feels right for you. So it could be that you might be productive, like let's talk about cold DMs. You might be productive and you might have sent a lot of DMs to people today, but it's for the performance to say that I've spoke to 40 people today. But actually, are they, is it meaningful messages? Is it meaningful conversations that are happening and follow-ups? Is it the right people? Is it getting you results? And I see this all the time as well. Quite a few people I come across will take some advice from like a social media guru. I always talk about social media gurus, and this is because I think sometimes the strategies they give you are the ones that have worked for them, and it doesn't work for all. There is no one strategy that works for everybody, because everyone has different time constraints, different responsibilities, different lifestyles, and there's a whole like thing around that. And this is why we do need to pace ourselves, and why productivity should be for yourself and not for performance. So it's things like maybe that you'll be told to engage. Absolutely, you should be engaging with people that are commenting on your posts, with new people every single day, because that's how you grow. It's how your name becomes known, how people get to know you. Absolutely. But what I don't believe is doing it productively for performance. So for example, there might be that you've seen a guru say that you must comment on 5 posts before you go and post your post, right? But you're then wasting time like commenting on people's posts, and it might even be pointless comments. And I've seen people do this. I remember I used to do it. And then one day I just woke up and thought, this is a lot of rubbish. Like, I'm not getting any results from it. It's just spending my time. And it's things like, I've had people do it to me where they show up on my posts every day, every morning, and they just comment the words "good morning." That is productivity for performance. It's so that they can go away and say that they have commented on 5 posts and then they've posted themselves. And that, my friends, is not going to get you the results that you want. It's not going to get genuine engagement back. It's not going to get anybody interested in you, and it's not going to get sales. And so that, you've got to think about how you're performing in these actions and why. Like I'd love you to sit like and audit every single action that you take. Why are you actually doing that? Who's told you should do it? And if you don't know the intentions behind it, or you're not even clear about how to do it effectively so that it does get a result, then it's probably a pointless task, and it's probably for performance. So just just doing something. And I'm not saying it like messy action is better than no action, absolutely. And I'm not saying everything has to be perfect, because it absolutely doesn't. But if you don't understand how to do the action, then you're doing it just to say that you're doing everything, and I see this all the time, like business owners, I'm doing everything and I'm not getting the sales in. You're not doing everything because it's impossible to do everything. And I shared this opinion once on a post about weight loss, and it peed a lot of people off, and I still stand by what I said. And it doesn't have to be just around weight loss, and it doesn't have to be just around business. It can be any goal you chase. We kind of claim that we've tried everything. I will never say I have tried everything when it comes to my health and my weight loss journey, because I know I haven't. I absolutely know I haven't tried Weight Watchers, nor would I want to, because I disagree with diet culture. I haven't tried, what have I not tried? I've not tried Manjaro. I haven't, because I'm too scared, if I'm completely honest, to try it. Even though I do believe it'll work, I've seen it work for so many people. Or what other drugs are out there that can help me lose weight? No denying that they can. I'm also worried about coming off it and putting all that weight back on and it just undoing everything and having a greater impact negatively on my health. But that's just how I feel right now, and I might change my views in future about that, but it absolutely has worked for a lot of people. I just don't think it's the right option for me. And so I haven't tried everything. There's options out there I can try. And so it's the same for business, and it's the same for everything you tackle, any goal you want to tackle. And I see this so many times that people, I've tried everything. No, you haven't. And I shared this opinion once online, and it upset people. It especially upset people because I used it to compare business to weight loss, because I find that really, really easy. Sometimes I compare to driving to a new destination, like you need a roadmap, you need a plan, you know, your sat nav basically. And I love that comparison because it's easy to resonate with people and it's easy to understand, but it can pee people off, and that did. And I think it peed them off because they knew I was right. And it's not that I wasn't like them, like we didn't have things in common, because I massively have struggled with my own journey with weight loss, to the point that sometimes when I step on that scale and it's not moved, like this week I've gained 3 pounds, and it makes me just want to cry and beat myself up. I'm like, why can I just not do this? And I know why. It's because I understand my brain and ADHD and dopamine, and I believe that we are kind of what's the word? I forgot what the word is. Conditioned. That's it. To just eat shitty food, and just looking at how I grew up and what I ate and diet, and yeah, there's so many things that you can unpick around it, and there's so much work to do with that, and that's why it's not working. And it's the same with business. Like, it's what your money mindset says, it's what your belief in yourself is saying. And so when you take these actions, you've got to think about where these actions are coming from, why you're doing them. And it's impossible to try everything, and even when you do, every single strategy out there does work, but it's not gonna, all of them are not gonna work for you, because you're an individual person with different responsibilities and circumstances. And this is the people I work with. It's typically the people that have like these extra things going on. That's like, if I think about the clients I've got in the Boss Academy right now, one of them is on a journey of having chemotherapy for breast cancer, but she's still showing up, which she's just amazing. She's so strong. So I've got that client. And she's also got neurodivergent child, neurodivergent herself, so many things going on. I've also got a client who is carer for her parent, but she's showing up anyway. She does multiple things. She's smashing it. I've got a client who is neurodivergent and dyslexic and finds the tech very challenging when it comes to her business. I've got another client who's also neurodivergent, and she... I think her only challenge at the moment is neurodivergence. But the point is, like, there's a few clients there that I've been able to list off the top of my head who've got these extra things that are going on. I've had clients in the past that have also been starting a new business, like they've got an existing successful business and they wanted to start another one, but they've got like school refusal from children, like their child, because they're neurodivergent. They find like so much anxiety, find it overwhelming. They knew that I was going through the same thing, so they came to work with me to figure out like, how do we do this? And it's not about saying this is what I did and this is what you've got to do. It's more so about finding about their situation, their child, themselves, what else is going on for them, and how that has an impact, because we are all different. And this is why the actions you take need to be about productivity and pacing yourself in a way that works for your life and not for the performance, and just to say I've done this and making it a checkbox. And going back to like trying everything, you can try everything, but how well are you actually executing the actions that you're taking? So going back to saying where, you know, you comment and you do the engagement and you comment on people's posts every day, it's just a tick box exercise with no meaning behind it. So instead you want to be intentional with it. So if I'm going to go comment on someone's post, it's not just going to be good morning, because that conversation doesn't lead anywhere. It needs to be something with substance. It needs to be something that can either give a point of view or could maybe be supporting someone. Basically, it needs meaning behind it. It needs to be intentional, because that comment otherwise is not going to get a result, and to me it doesn't count as engagement. It's the same as just commenting on an emoji on someone's post for no reason, just to say you've engaged. It's just totally pointless, and it's quite unethical as well to go and do that. So any actions like that you're doing, I'd like you to check in with those. I want to talk about pacing a little bit more. So basically, pacing I think is incredibly important when it comes to being productive, because actually what can lead to more productivity is if you give yourself a break. And I remember that I went through a coaching program I used to run called Foundations. Previous that was called Creative Collective when I was a creative business coach. And basically I used to say to clients quite often when they were overwhelmed and anxious and frustrated, and they might come to a problem that they've been looking at it for too long and they just can't see the wood for the trees, and I'd used to say to them, like, you're so overwhelmed right now, I want you to get off this session and I want you to go have a cup of tea. And obviously a cup of tea, it didn't have to be a cup of tea, it was like whatever their version of cup of tea was. But it's very British of me, very Yorkshire of me to say go and have a cup of tea. But I would recommend that they'd take a step back to move forward. So by saying go have a cup of tea, I'm giving them permission to go take a break, walk away from whatever that problem is, and guarantee when you do that, you allow your brain the space, the problem is solved. So this has happened to me recently. So I go swimming pretty much every week, sometimes more than once a week. Absolutely love it. And one of my problems is I am in the midst of rewriting every single training that I used to have in that foundations program and upgrading it, up leveling it, making it better, and rewriting everything for the Boss Academy and adding slides and there's more sessions I'm adding as well. And it's a lot of work, like the amount of trainings, there was loads there, it's a hell of a lot of work. And I'm thinking, how am I going to navigate this? How am I going to get it all done? Especially now I've decided that I want to deliver these sessions live, because I believe that a lot of people, if you don't deliver it live, they don't do it. So I've decided to do that. And in deciding that, I'm like, how am I going to prepare all this? It's going to take so much time. I want to be able to give them this. And I was swimming, and obviously I've thought about it, like, this is a real problem. But then I've left it. I've not tried to solve it. I've not spoken to everybody and trying to find an answer, because that's actually not a relevant problem right now to seek support on when I've got other things I need to be working on. And so I've just left it. I've left it, walked away from it, gone, had a cup of tea, so to speak. But I was swimming the other day, and while I was swimming, the answer came to me. Like, we've got the most amazing tool at our fingertips these days with AI, and being able to have it to basically do things quicker than us. And I'm like, why am I not putting my training notes into an AI app and just asking it to compile it into notes that I can use? It's all my notes, it's all my work, but I can put it in and say, you know, can you compile this into fresh notes so it can condense it down so it's relevant points, so I can use it to easily read from and deliver a future training. I can ask it where I'm missing things, where things need updating, so I can go away and work with that, and it will save me so much more time, and I can do that for every single one. I can even ask it to help me create the slides. That's how easy it gets to be. So by taking a step back from it, I've been able to think of a solution. That solution came from within myself. And this is where you need to pace yourself. This is where you do need to make sure you're taking a step back regularly. Because if something does feel hard and heavy and frustrating in your business right now, how are you pacing yourself to solve that problem? So, really important things to talk about. I feel like I've really been opinionated in this episode. This is why I probably should have some notes, but hopefully it'll land quite well. But yeah, stop with the productivity performance. Take a step back, acknowledge why you're taking actions and what they actually need to look like, because it will make such a difference. Such a massive, massive difference. I've just looked up now, and this is really random, and I'm like, how the hell is my roof got like dirty marks on it? Because like no one touches it. How does that stuff happen? Very strange. Me getting distracted with my ADHD brain. Anyway, that's all for this week's episode. Come back for more next week. Do not forget to subscribe to the podcast, to my YouTube channel if you're watching over there, to my email list, because we'll let you know when the next episode drops, which is every single week on a Sunday night. So if you want to round up your evening with one of these episodes, or you want to start your Monday morning with action to take, strategy to think about, then come and watch Build Like a Boss with me, Dani Louise Smith, business consultant. I'll see you again next time for another topic that's juicy and filled with goodness to help you build like a boss.